Today's tip of the week is there a shortage of housing in Calgary? And we get asked this a lot, or we see a lot of reports and a lot of newspaper articles that, there's a shortage in Calgary. There's no housing for anybody. Everybody's talking about how young people can't buy a home because there's no inventory, there's nothing to buy. Well, we're going to dispel that myth right now and go over a few things that everyone should know about, especially real estate investors. The first thing I'm going to touch on is the inventory. This is the resale inventory in Calgary. And as of this morning, there were over 6,200 active listings just in the city of Calgary. This is not the surrounding areas, not the smaller towns. And we haven't seen this many listings, pardon me, since July of 2021. So that was right at the tail end of COVID, right after COVID finished and the listings came up again. Everybody says there's a shortage, but if we have this huge amount of listings out there, that points to another direction.
Yeah, Callie, do you have anything to add with the listings?
Yeah, I mean, for our buyers, that means that you have more options. You have more time. For the sellers, unfortunately, it means that you are competing with more inventory out there.
Yeah, and what's crazy right now is the rents out there. So there's so much inventory that, you know what, the rental rates are actually coming down. So that's making renters rent for longer. There's no incentive for them to go and buy. What was happening just after COVID is prices were going up, rental rates were going up crazy. So what the renters were doing, they were getting out of renting and buying. And now it's the reverse. It's actually cheaper to rent those same properties than actually go out and buy, especially the condos. So condos out there with condo fees being $800-900 and getting into the market between $300,000-400,000. When you add up your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, and your condo fees, it's just not worth going to leap into actually buying and stop renting.
Yeah, and one more thing to touch on the housing shortage is we're seeing our almost 9,000 properties out on the rental market right now. According to Rent Faster, we're at exactly 8955. So that's almost 10,000 rental listings out there. So with our high resale inventory and our high rental inventory, we don't see a shortage. If you're a renter or if you're a buyer, there's lots of inventory out there, all housing types, all classifications, whether it's the lower priced items, the high priced items, it's all out there. So what we're hearing from the press and what we're seeing about the number of properties out there available, it's just not jiving.
Yeah, and then the other thing that's happening is last year, Tim pulled these stats today, 5,500 purpose-built rentals were built last year, okay, in 2024. In 2025, in the first half of the year, 4,500 had been built in the first half and roughly 7,500 still under construction. So what does that mean for investors? What it means is if you own brand new right now in newer communities, or if you own downtown where there's a lot of purpose-built buildings going up, rental buildings, rents are going to continue to come down. And not only that, the saddest thing that's happening for investors that didn't take our advice for the last couple of years is stay away from brand new construction because the market is flooded. We don't even know when it's going to turn around. That's the scary thing. And we're seeing properties out there in new communities like half duplexes with basement suites. They've built so many of them. Right now, we're up to like 24,000 legal suites out there. We're estimating half of those legally suited properties are brand new construction. So when you have that many, what it means is the prices are coming down. And when we say coming down, those half duplexes were roughly selling above 700,000, and now you can buy them roughly just over 600,000. So that's going to impact the brand new properties that are being built today. And I feel sorry for the investors out there that had bought pre-construction because they're going to take possession and the property will be worth $50,000 to $60,000 less than they actually paid. And then the other segment of the market that you really have to watch out for is the condo market. So with the MLI Select program right now, developers are building massive amounts. If you go into any community, low-rise apartment buildings, and they're doing this because they get incentives from the feds. They get different mortgage rules, 50-year AMs. They get lower down payments. And so what that does is it saturates the condo market, keeping renters renting for longer because rent's coming down. And then people trying to sell to finally get their condos off the books, they're going to be stuck with this for some time. And we don't even know for how long.
Yeah. And one last thing I want to touch on is rental rates. If we have this huge supply of rentals on the market right now, how does our rental rates compare to, say, other places across the country? I pulled up these stats today. There's a site called rentals.ca where you can get all kinds of rental reports on cities and provinces across the country. So if we're looking at Calgary right now, the average two-bedroom rent is just over $2,000 per month. And that's a 3% decrease from October of last year. These are October stats. But if you compare that to Toronto and Vancouver, we'll do Toronto first. Toronto's average rent for a two-bedroom condo, this is across the city, is over $2,800 a month. And it's about a 2% decrease from last year. Now, Vancouver, they also had a 2% decrease, but their average rent for a two-bedroom condo is $3,354. So that's almost $3,500 for just your average two-bedroom condo, which to me tells me that Vancouver might have a bit of a rental shortage, even though they have all these condos going up and they're not selling right now. They also had this massive amount of rental purpose building that went on in the last year and a half. So Calgary, with the high inventory and the low rental rates, still makes us a very attractive place to both invest in and to live in. So going back to the title of our tip of the week, is there a housing shortage in Calgary? We at Calgary Real Estate Wealth believe there's not. The inventory levels tell us there's not. And, as long as it stays this way, it's good for investors to buy inventory. And it's also good for renters because they have some choice out there.
Yeah. So if you're thinking of investing in real estate the next 6 months, we were just saying this, that before the spring market is a great time. You just have to be wary about what you're investing in, what segment. There is different segments like the townhouse market or the starter home market that is going to continue to go up because inventory on those properties are very low. And the cost to build those types of properties today is way more than you can actually buy secondhand properties out there. That is our crew tip of the week. If this is your first crew tip of the week, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crew TV, Calgary Real Estate Wealth TV. We have hundreds of tips on there that you can benefit from.